Observing Power's new, larger horns, Makima tells Denji that she's consumed too much zombie blood, making her overly strong and difficult to handle. She suggests draining some of her blood, and Denji agrees, leaving Power visibly nervous. Makima then introduces Denji to his new partner, the shark fiend, Beam. Beam enthusiastically tries to hug Denji, but Denji instinctively knocks him down. Makima explains that Beam has a strong liking for Denji and will follow his every order. Noticing Denji's sour mood, Makima invites him on a date. The next day, Denji arrives hours early, excited to meet Makima. When she arrives, she reveals they'll be watching movies all day at a cinema, non-stop until midnight. During the first movie, Denji realizes he isn't laughing like the rest of the audience and notices Makima isn't either. Afterward, Makima briefly critiques the film, commenting on its plot and cinematography. This pattern continues through several movies, with neither of them reacting emotionally and Makima offering her critiques after each one. Denji grows increasingly bored. Before the final movie, he remarks that none of the films have moved him and wonders if he just doesn't get movies. Makima admits she feels the same way but adds that the few films that did affect her changed life. During the final film, Denji unexpectedly finds himself crying at a seemingly insignificant scene. Looking at Makima, he sees she's also silently crying. Afterward, the two leave the cinema in good spirits, discussing how much they enjoyed the last movie. Denji nervously asks Makima if she thinks he has a heart. Smiling, she leans in, listens to his heartbeat, and assures him that he does. As she walks away, Denji stands blushing in the street, overwhelmed by the moment. Denji walks down the street, smiling as he reflects on his date with Makima. Beam silently trails him underground. Spotting a charity stand, Denji decides to donate money as a gesture of his newfound heart, and receives a flower in return. Proud of his good deed, he walks away, but casually eats the flower, leaving the charity worker bewildered. As he continues, Denji's thoughts drift back to Makima and how her words eased his worries. He resolves to use the wish she promised him to ask her out, convinced that she's the only girl he'll ever care about romantically. Suddenly, rain begins to pour, and Denji dashes to take shelter in a telephone booth. While he waits, a young woman unexpectedly joins him, startling him. She apologizes, then starts laughing, confusing Denji. Her laughter soon turns to tears as she explains that his face reminds her of her late dog. Denji, struggling to suppress a gag, pulls the flower from his throat and presents it to her with a flourish. She thanks him, her smile leaving him stunned. As the rain stops, she invites him to visit her workplace, a cafe called Futamakai. The girl takes a shortcut through alleyways to the cafe, puts on her apron, and notices Denji already sitting at a table, waiting for her. Surprised but amused, she orders 2 coffees and sits next to him. Denji takes a sip and grimaces in disgust, making her laugh. She playfully touches his shoulder, leaving Denji flustered and wondering if she likes him. The girl introduces herself as Reze, and Denji nervously tells her his name. As they talk, Denji's thoughts return to Makima. To his surprise, he realizes that his feelings for Reze are growing, leaving him torn and uncertain. Aki teams up with the Angel Devil on a mission, hoping to eliminate more devils and earn a spot on the Gun Devil Task Force. Angel Devil complains about the effort required, preferring to eat ice cream instead. Aki warns him that failing to cooperate could result in his extermination. After some thought, Angel Devil agrees, concluding that dying is slightly more trouble than working. In a flashback, Makima introduces Angel Devil to Aki, explaining his immense power. Though Aki remains hesitant to work with devils, Makima reveals that Angel Devil is the second strongest hunter after Kishibe. She explains his ability to absorb the life force of those he touches, transforming it into powerful weapons. She also notes his dark past. He once absorbed the life of an entire village. Later, Aki and Angel Devil stand over the corpse of a devil they've killed. Nearby, they find a dying freelance devil hunter. Aki asks Angel Devil to end the man's suffering, but Angel Devil refuses, stating that as a devil, he believes humans should suffer as they die. Aki takes it upon himself to kill the man. The two quietly acknowledge that they will never truly get along. Meanwhile, Denji wrestles with his feelings for Makima as he returns to the cafe. Reze teases him for eating there every day that week and invites him to sit with her. During their conversation, Denji reveals he can't read and admits the only kanji he can write is balls, making her laugh. Reze moves closer and invites him to attend night school with her. causing Denji to blush as he nervously agrees. Elsewhere, a scarred, half-naked man stares into a sink filled with water. Speaking to the Typhoon Devil, he asks why the devils want the Chainsaw Devil's heart. The Typhoon Devil responds from the water, dismissing his question and reminding him of their contract. Eternal use of its power in exchange for Denji's heart. The man recounts a brutal story of how he killed a feared Chinese devil hunter by kidnapping, murdering, and skinning their family, his tone eerily calm as he reflects on his actions. Denji and Reze walk through the dimly lit school at night. Reze, feigning nervousness, tells Denji she's scared and asks to hold his hand. Denji agrees, though he silently apologizes to Makima for the gesture. In a classroom, Reze playfully pretends to be a teacher, giving Denji simple and absurd lessons like 1 + 1 = 2 and how to write big ass in English. She teases him about his lack of education, then gently asks if his life as a devil hunter is truly fulfilling. Denji responds that it's enough for him since he gets 3 meals a day and a bed to sleep in. Reze, unimpressed, reminds him that those are the bare minimum for a decent life. Sensing his discomfort, she suggests they go swimming to lighten the mood. At the outdoor pool, Reze confidently strips naked, leaving Denji flustered. He admits he doesn't know how to swim but quickly undresses as well, despite worrying about his loyalty to Makima. Hesitant at first, Denji eventually jumps in, and Reze starts teaching him to swim. The two bond in the water until it begins to rain, forcing them back inside. Sitting together and watching the rain, Reze asks Denji whether he'd rather be a city mouse or a country mouse. Meanwhile, Aki and Angel Devil are having the same discussion. Angel explains that the country mouse lives a safer, quieter life, while the city mouse enjoys more excitement but faces constant danger. He admits he'd prefer to be a country mouse but was brought to the city by Makima and forced into a more dangerous life. Denji, on the other hand, decides he'd rather be a city mouse, as he only cares about food and entertainment no matter the risk. Reze invites him to a food festival the next day, then excuses herself to use the bathroom. Once alone, Denji whispers to himself, "She's so freaking cute." Walking through the empty corridor, Reze is suddenly confronted by the scarred man holding a knife. Back in the classroom, Denji starts to panic, realizing that when he closes his eyes, he now sees both Reze and Makima standing side by side in his mind. Reze is chased onto the rooftop by the scarred man. She demands to know who he is, but he simply smirks and calls her cheese, bait meant to lure in Denji. He coldly explains his plan to peel off her face and gouge out her eyes to torment Denji into submission. As he lunges at her, Reze effortlessly dodges, swings onto his back, and begins choking him out with precise strength. While he struggles and slowly fades, she softly sings a Russian lullaby, her tone calm and detached. Once the man is lifeless, Reze stands and looks down at the Typhoon Devil lurking in a nearby drain. The devil nervously addresses her as Miss Reze and apologizes for the disruption. Reze, unbothered, promises to overlook the incident on the condition that the Typhoon Devil disposes of the body. The devil quickly complies, and Reze heads back to Denji, a warm smile masking the violence she just left behind. The next day, Reze and Denji enjoy their time at the festival, laughing and wandering through the stalls. As the evening settles, they climb a hill to watch the fireworks together. Under the vibrant bursts of light, Reze turns to Denji with a serious yet tender expression. She asks him to quit devil hunting and run away with her, promising, "I'll make you happy and I'll protect you." Denji, visibly torn, asks Reze why she wants to run away with him. She simply replies that she likes him. Though Denji admits her offer is tempting, he explains that he started to find happiness in his current life. He talks about his growing role in the bureau and his improved relationships with Aki and Power. These, he says, aren't things he's ready to give up so easily. Hesitantly, he asks if they can still see each other despite his decision. Reze looks at him for a moment before asking if he likes someone else. Without waiting for an answer, she kisses him deeply. As Denji begins to relax into the kiss, he suddenly falls backward, blood pouring from his mouth. It's revealed that Reze has bitten off his tongue. Without hesitation, Reze slits Denji's throat, leaving him gurgling and reaching for his cord to transform. Before he can, she swiftly severs his hand, stopping him. Kneeling close to his weakening body, she stabs him in the back and holds him gently. Reze kisses him once more before calmly apologizing and telling him she's taking his heart. Before Reze can act further, Beam bursts from the ground, grabs Denji, and flees down the hill. Frantic, Beam curses himself for failing to recognize her scent earlier, the smell of a bomb. As if on cue, Reze reaches for the pin on her choker, pulling it free. Her head and right arm explode in a violent burst before rapidly reforming, revealing her transformed state as the Bomb Devil hybrid. Launching herself with a deafening blast, she crashes in front of Beam and Denji in an instant, her voice cold as she calls Beam a thief. Clutching Denji tightly, Beam desperately tries to flee from Reze. However, she effortlessly uses her explosive blasts to launch herself ahead of him, blocking his path with precision. Calmly, she offers Beam a deal: freedom in exchange for Denji. Beam growls in defiance and transforms into his monstrous shark-headed form. In response, Reze simply touches his face, unleashing an explosion that sends him crashing to the ground with ease. As Beam struggles, a trio of private devil hunters arrive and report the situation via walkie-talkie. Reze snaps her fingers, detonating the hunters instantly, reducing them to nothing. Turning back, she notices that Beam, seizing the moment, has slipped away with Denji once more. Nearby, at the 2nd Division training facility, Aki spars with other hunters. One of them, Nomo, thanks him for the valuable training and offers Aki a position with their team, promising a high-ranking role within 5 years. As Nomo departs, Angel Devil questions Aki's lack of mention of his shortened lifespan, revealing that Power had told him about it. Angel Devil considers Aki lucky, admitting his own desire to die just to avoid effort. Suddenly, Nomo rushes back, panicked and requesting their immediate aid. At the entrance, they find a heavily wounded Beam, barely able to stand as he clutches Denji's battered body. Beam warns them of the approaching bomb hybrid, identifying her as the Bomb Devil and revealing she is an ally of the Gun Devil. When Aki demands to know how Beam has this knowledge, Beam cryptically explains that he promised Makima not to divulge it under threat of death. As they process the situation, a young girl, Reze in her human form, approaches the facility, her clothes and demeanor seemingly harmless. She feigns distress, asking for help and claiming to have been attacked by a devil. Nomo, however, notices her wide, unnerving smile and quietly remarks on her suspicious familiarity. While the group works to move Denji and Beam to safety, Nomo cautiously asks Aki if he recognizes her. Meanwhile, Reze realizes that the group won't simply let her through. With a resigned expression, she reaches for the pin on her neck, preparing to unleash her explosive power. Smirking coldly, she comments that she'll have to massacre them instead. Before Reze can attack, 2 devil hunters, Kato and Tanabe, counter her by unleashing an ability from an unknown devil. Instantly, mold begins growing inside her heart and intestines, causing Reze to cough up blood as her body slows. The hunters smugly inform her that the mold will continue to spread, even if she regenerates, ensuring her eventual demise. In response, Reze calmly fires a blast at her own head, decapitating herself. Her severed head, still active, is flung toward the hunters. As it reaches them, the head utters a single word: boom! A massive explosion erupts, and her head reforms into the fully transformed bomb hybrid, leaving the hunters momentarily stunned. Using the confusion to her advantage, Reze's still moving torso rushes forward. Nomo, reacting quickly, summons the Fox Devil to attack, but the torso evades the attack and grabs him. In an instant, she explodes, leaving numerous hunters dead and scattering the survivors. Reformed once again, Reze resumes her assault, blasting away anyone who stands in her path. Nomo, battered but alive, launches another desperate attack. Despite his efforts, Reze gracefully dodges every strike, overwhelming him with her speed and precision. Just as she's about to finish him off, the 2nd Division lieutenant intervenes, summoning Khan to swallow her whole. For a moment, it seems they have succeeded. However, Khan abruptly disappears, unable to contain Reze's overwhelming power. She emerges unscathed and continues her rampage. Meanwhile, Aki works to evacuate Angel Devil, the unconscious Denji, and Beam. He orders Angel Devil to transfer some of his blood to Denji to revive him, despite Angel Devil's reluctance. As the blood is transferred, Aki mentions a disturbing vision he received from the future devil, but brushes it aside to focus on their escape. Just as they prepare to leave in the car, Reze appears in front of the vehicle, holding the severed heads of both Nomo and the lieutenant in her hands. Her chilling presence sends a wave of dread through the group as she smirks, ready to confront them head-on. Reze, still holding the severed heads, calmly addresses the group. She explains that killing Nomo and the lieutenant was a demonstration of her strength, not her intent. She states she'd rather avoid unnecessary bloodshed and offers them an ultimatum: leave Denji behind and flee. Aki doesn't respond. Instead, he slams his foot on the accelerator, swerving the car around Reze and attempting to escape. Reze clicks her tongue in annoyance and launches herself onto the roof of the vehicle with an explosive blast, commenting irritably about how the gasoline inside the car makes it a potential fire hazard. Before she can strike, the violence fiend ambushes her with a powerful kick, sending her hurtling off the car. Aki leans out of the window and shouts his thanks, explaining that he called for backup earlier. The violence fiend grins, following up with another kick aimed at Reze. This time, she blocks the blow effortlessly, surprising the fiend. Smirking, she compliments his strength and prepares to fight back. The violence fiend, recognizing the power gap, calls out to Kobeni before retreating back toward the building. Reze turns to see Kobeni sprawled on the ground, her hip injured. Kobeni begins crying and begging for her life, curling into a ball and sobbing uncontrollably. Watching her pitiful state, Reze sighs and leaves her unharmed, muttering, "What a waste of time." Back on the motorway, Aki weaves through the traffic, desperately trying to create distance. Angel Devil peers out of the window and spots Reze in the sky, propelling herself forward with controlled explosions. She lands with a deafening crash atop a large truck trailing closely behind them. At that moment, Denji jolts awake, still groggy from his injuries. Aki, seeing no other options, declares that if necessary, he'll ram the car directly into Reze to stop her. He emphasizes that their primary mission is to protect Denji at all costs. Denji, however, ignores him, pulling his chainsaw cord and slicing through the roof of the car to face Reze. "You're low on blood," Aki shouts, but Denji doesn't listen. Facing Reze, Denji yells out in frustration, "Why does every woman I meet try to kill me? Why does everyone care about the chainsaw's heart but not me?" Reze pauses, her expression softening for a brief moment. "Denji, my feelings for you were real." Denji hesitates, lowering his chainsaws slightly, but Aki's voice cuts through the moment. "Don't be gullible. She's playing you." Snapping back to reality, Denji shakes his head. "I don't need you, Reze. I have Makima," he declares firmly. Reze's eyes widen in surprise before narrowing. "If you're so tied to Makima, running away with me would have been meaningless," she retorts, her voice tinged with disappointment. Denji clenches his fists in anger. "I don't want your death on my conscience," he growls. "I'm going to capture you, not kill you." With that, he launches himself at her, chainsaws roaring, ready for the fight. The battle begins with explosive intensity as Reze detonates the truck beneath her and Denji, sending both of them hurtling through the air. Denji crashes into the side of a building, dazed, only to be met with a powerful punch from Reze that flings him further into the rubble. Standing amidst the chaos, Reze scolds him, her voice calm but firm. "You're reckless," she says. "Charging in without a plan doesn't make you strong. It makes you predictable." To illustrate her point, she lifts her hand, revealing that Denji had sliced off one of her fingers during their initial clash. "But I don't waste opportunities," she adds. The severed finger, now hooked on Denji's chains, begins to glow before exploding violently. As the smoke clears, Denji bursts out, his chainsaws revving as he lunges at Reze with renewed determination. However, her speed and precision far outmatch him. With a deafening blast, she propels herself and Denji into the sky, maneuvering effortlessly through the air. Transforming her leg into a missile, she launches them both back toward the ground at breakneck speed, tearing Denji's torso apart upon impact. Blood sprays across the horrified faces of nearby civilians as Reze stands over Denji's dismembered torso. She picks up the mangled remains, looking down at him with a mixture of pity and disdain. "You're not ready to fight someone like me," she mutters before blasting his torso, reducing it to a smoldering ruin. As Reze walks through the shattered remains of the building, she steps over the bodies of fallen civilians, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Unbeknownst to her, Aki lies among the corpses, feigning death. His breathing is steady, his grip tight on his sword as he waits for the perfect moment. Reze passes him without a second glance, her focus on the destruction ahead. In a flash, Aki springs to his feet, his blade slicing cleanly through her arm. Caught off guard, Reze lets out a sharp gasp as her severed arm falls to the ground, causing her to drop what remains of Denji.